Welcome to Sculpture Studios. Another year, another Christmas project, and the dreaded 2020 had a little gem waiting for us right at the end of the year.
Yeah, go.
We've been approached by a few different clients, all on board for a project with Virgin Media. In the run-up to Christmas, a tight turnaround job emerged for a 25 days of Christmas Advent pantomime featuring Big Zuu from Big Zoo's Big Eats. Preparations are going ahead to have a massive collaboration of elements already in place for a 3-day shoot. These 3 filming days will consist of individual pantomime and fairy tale inspired stories with a Virgin Media twist. We're talking amazing tailored costumes and makeup, special effects, stage props, and that last one is where we come in. Rather than using an actual Virgin Media van for one of the scenes, they want to go full on theatre and have one created from scratch. Now listen, we're talking an extremely small time frame with this, so it's going to be an intensive few weeks, but that's also why we've got so much footage. So if you're here for the long haul, welcome aboard. We're going to be creating a handmade polystyrene van in the style of Virgin Media's Christmas themed fleet of vehicles. Don't question why this is going ahead, just kick back and enjoy the ride. We're getting straight on with blocking out the main bulk of the form in polystyrene or styrofoam. We're basically trying to give ourselves as much time as possible before we've got the official go ahead. Here we have Aden and Hynes.
Yes, hello everyone. We're still during the pandemic period, which has been really tough on the whole theatre and exhibition industry, but we're lucky enough to have this project from Virgin. We're going to be creating this large van, life-size van, from polystyrene with a plastic coating and painted red. But as you can see on the floor here, the lads have started to grid it up and get the basic size of it all. Now, how we initially got this job was they saw our taxi for the pantomime and also the Ant-Man bus, and they loved it so much they said, yeah, we'll have it done in this route and in the pantomime kind of style. So really nice. And over here, once again in polystyrene, we're trying to sort out the quickest way of actually making these. So we're going to cut out the circle and perhaps put these on the lathe and see how they go when they're actually turned up. And we're creating them in modular fashion because there's going to be 6 or 10 of us on this project and working through the night as well. 2 sides and the front end as well. At least when we make it in modular fashion, we can be working on every single piece at the same time, so nothing is left over.
Very quick turnaround job for this, so it's all hands on deck, but everyone at Sculpture Studios that usually works here is appreciating being back in the studio and getting back to some decent artwork. Yeah. So here we are, creating a video especially for the clients and obviously especially for our YouTubers as well, but this is the beginning of the Ford video.
Very good, and we'll keep you posted. Here I am in the studio, late into the evening once again. Being given the go-ahead for this project now. The schematics or blueprints off the internet, and it gives us a good chance of getting the peripheral of the van quite accurate. Ideally, I want to split it up just behind the door here, so I don't have any breaks like within the panel, and that keeps it nice and clean. So the front end can go as a big U shape, and we have 2 side panels as go as complete units. The wheels won't function, they'll just be stuck on, so the whole thing is just visual, and there's going to be a big skate plate underneath where they wheel it around. The windows will be plates of clear plastic, a full pane there and a half pane there, so they can have their Whitner arm hanging out the window and create a little more distance. The good thing about me coming back in the evening is it gives me a chance to not only have a look at the drawings, but assess the project throughout these couple of weeks or 3 weeks of how I'm going to tackle the job and make sure that nothing slides and nothing gets left undone, and we finish on time. I think that's the key thing here, as they have a tight deadline and the shoot won't stop for anything, so my part of the project has to be finished. All in all, I think it will work really well. By tomorrow morning I'll have this all drawn up, and then we can start sketching all the lights and the imagery and the bumpers, and then I can start carving the whole thing. So let's see how it goes from there, shall we?
Well, you've ploughed through the first 5 minutes. A lot of our project videos would be half done by now, but no, we're on a mission not to miss anything out here. So the brief is for a polystyrene painted virgin media van. Now that's very basic as far as details and where the level of finish is concerned, but any of you who know us by now should come to expect that we like to go a little above and beyond. So we're going to be going balls to the wall for this project in trying to get this as accurate as we can. The great part is that this is going to look like an absolutely banging stage prop. The downside is that at first glance, some people might not even realise it's a prop. Either way, you guys are welcome to see how this is being put together. We've now scaled the drawings onto the full-size grids in preparation for the carving to start. This moment here is something stupid that we've come to try out every now and then, and is actually the first video where we've included it. Simply put, you've got to walk backwards, making it look as though you're walking properly forwards by the time the clip's reversed. Poor attempt from myself, I must admit, but trust me, Aden's attempt is a downside right better than it normally is, believe it or not.
First one's easy. The tricky bit is trying to get the other three in soon. But once this is all sanded down and smooth, we drill all the holes around there, add all the extra details, all the grooves in
Sean,
the
as you carry on,
rubber.
can you be posh English?
So once this has been sanded down, what are we going to do? We're going to be adding the details into the rubber, of course, the treads on the outside, and we've got to make sure that the detail is deep enough so that once the blanket coat of plastic goes on top, everything is still visible.
Okay.
Here, Aden's gone and taken some close-up reference shots so that we can include all the necessary components, get the shapes like the grooves on the side panels and the headlights correct, and now we've got everything together, I think we're about ready to go.
Okay guys, I'm about to start. Here we go. Probably hours and hours and hours into the evening, and probably early morning as well.
Here we are, this is where we're at so far, ready for Aden to carve. That's been put at a slight pitch. Got to work out the correct distance there to create the correct angle, so there's minimal amount of carving needed for Aden at this point. Liam, Kev and Aden have blocked this out. 2-part plastic mix is currently on the way. It's in transit.
See this? Untouched. You could say it's virgin bead polish.
Bead poly, all ready for Aden to carve. But that's where we're at so far. Nice space in the studio, and nice bit of work coming in. Here are all 4 wheels, now been turned by yours truly. Nice thing about it is they're all tooled and not simply done by hand. They're actually turned on the lathe, so they're all nice and uniform and nice and neat. Once these are coated up with the 2-part plastic and painted, bring them to life. Well, it looks like a shuttlecraft.
Well, one thing for certain, it's not going to fit in a transit van, is it?
Not going to fit in a Fantastic delivery of that pun. In preparation of going over the entirety of the van's surface with a plastic, we need to do some tests to make sure we're using the right material. With time of the essence, we don't want something that takes too long to cure, is too tough to work with, or that will leave a bad finish, so we've got a few different materials on order which we're testing out on one of the wheels and a few polystyrene samples. To save time on extra plastic layers, we think the best route is losing that porous poly bead texture with a water-based plaster render first. So here we are, the front's being marked and gridded out so that Aden can start carving the front end over the weekend. Today's Friday. What's today? Day 3, Aden?
Day 3, yeah. Well, day 4 really, isn't it?
Yeah, well, by the time we got the confirmation from the client, got all the polystyrene sent in order for us to start cutting. We jumped the gun on the first day just to give ourselves a bit of extra time to get this all cut and blocked out. And Aden's going to be working on this over the course of the weekend, so that by the time we get back Monday morning, the majority of it should be carved. Any tweaks we can finish up Monday, but then we can sand the whole thing down, get cracking on all the plastic work, which should be delivered Monday. Over here we've done a test on one of our plastic samples. Unfortunately, what with it getting closer to winter, the cold weather doesn't bode well for the materials curing, but we think we've ordered a better product material to arrive on Monday, which will hopefully cure in a quicker time, and we'll be able to sand back it easier. Brum, brum. So, what do you think of the process so far? It's a very different kettle of fish, carving something organic like a fish compared to a kettle, I suppose. Straight lines, symmetry, corners, manufactured looking elements. It's definitely a mindset you need to get yourself in order to get things the way they should. Though this is essentially only a stage prop, we want to make sure we get this right, if not for Virgin Media or their Christmas audience, then for you guys watching at home.
I'm in the studio today, now Saturday, about 5 o'clock in the evening. Be working on this all day, correcting areas like this and the pitch and the angles from every viewpoint. Going over it and over it again, checking it from the front, making sure the centre line is equal both sides, so the balance is correct. Putting on bits of foam where I think I've carved off too much. Hey, it happens, you know, it happens. But it is taking shape and it's looking much like a transit now. It's got that nice sort of bulk and heaviness about it all, so that's quite good. Add in little things like the runner, the doors and the door handles and the mirror. It is taking shape. It's after all, it is a panto van and it does look like a van. So going to work late into the evening and then come back on Sunday as well to make sure it's correct before the lads come in. And hopefully the materials turn up on Monday so we can sort of sand it all down properly and then cover it in a type of plastic. Over here we've done one thin layer of plastic and then a primer. A bit of substrate to it. I'm not sure exactly how strong it is, but it's better than just polystyrene. All the drawings and workings out on this table here. A little mishmash of everything. Side plan to use it. I'll carry on working all the same and see just how we get on.
With every new project that comes through our door here at the studio, we often find it can be quite a big eye-opener. Whatever the subject, be it a creature, object, concept, or even just a texture or finish, we always find we're looking at something in a whole new light. For example, who knew a van had so many parts and intricacies, and anything from the musculature of a horse to even learning all of the names to the Peppa Pig characters. It's always a learning curve when we're creating something new.
Here we have the van taking shape, still in polystyrene at the moment. We've primed it and now we're going over with a soft filler to fill up all the little holes and make it look good and sharpen up all the areas. Still a bit of carving to do at the very top. Sean's concentrating on the wheels. Can you tell us what's happening, please, Sean?
What we've done, we've gone on with the smooth on plastic mix. And I'm going to be sanding this all day today, all day tomorrow to get these nice and smooth. All the deep spots, all the holes, the la-ba.
Thank you very much, Sean. Now we'll come on to Kevin and ask him what he is actually doing.
You kind of goofy stuff. Too smart. You gotta. Yeah.
Very informative, Kevin. And now we have Liam. He's doing some really cleaning up spots here. Liam.
I'm going.
Yeah, thank you, Liam. And we have Clive. Can you tell us what you're doing, please, Clive?
If you look on the side of the wings here.
Yeah.
Such a shame about the battery there, Clive. No time for that now. It's time to split the job up using our hot wires. We're cutting the front end of the van away from the two side panels. Not only are these going to be broken down for transportation anyway, but this means we can lay everything down and work on things separately. We're using a clear perspex for the windscreen and windows. The windows aren't actually going to function, as that would be a little bit overkill for a quick prop, so these are going to be left rolled down 3/4 of the way for the actors to lean out of. The wheels have had another test layer of plastic, and now that we've sanded it back, we're going over with a grey primer. Working up the finish on 4 wheels isn't too much of an issue, but we need to make sure that we get the correct material and the correct mix for the rest of the van, as that's a lot more surface area to clean. For now, final preparations with the water-based plaster filler are going on the van surface to make this as smooth as possible before the plastic coatings. And here we have Aden going on with the first layer of our chosen plastic mix. We've done a few test samples already. Over here we've got the same plastic mix just in its raw liquid state on fresh polystyrene, where it kind of seeps into the material first and then you have to go over to really fill all the gaps. Here we've added a kind of cellulose fibre mix which bulks up the material, but as soon as you start adding too much and get too heavy, that's going to be a lot of sanding down before wanting to reapply another coat.
Yeah, we don't have time for that.
Due to the time constraints, we're going straight on with a liquid layer, and when this cures, we can go straight on with another layer directly over the top, see what the finish is like, and sand down if needed. We're having vinyl letters sent down so the graphics can be put on the side of the van. The wheels have to all be painted as well. These are going to be black tyres with gold rims, and there's going to be gold detailing on the van itself as well. These have now been cut so the van can sit on top, and these will sit nice and neat under the wheel arches at the correct distance. As this project is going to be used inside, and nothing super long lasting, our first thoughts are to use water-based emulsion paints for the artwork. This is quick drying here in the studio, and easy to amend at the other end if anything gets knocked or damaged on site. We're building up with a few initial layers of plastic first of all, in order to give us a substantial enough thickness to sand back. We're trying to lose that orange peel effect that the plastic naturally creates, and we'll keep on improving the surface every step of the way, as much as we think time allows for.
Oh hi, didn't see you there, come on over! So here we're just gridding everything up with all the measurements now that we've got everything in one piece and we can measure it accurately on the floor. This is just to send to Dave and his team at the other end so that they can create a trolley or a skate for the whole van to sit on top of, we've just come up with an estimate of where we imagine this should sit, so that the wheels can be placed underneath the trolley, behind our wheels, so that everything's hidden. The whole thing's raised off the ground about 300 millimeters, and we're just sending these drawings over so that they've got a couple of days head start to make a start on creating the trolley.
Yeah. Sean's the one who makes the magic happen within the video room as well.
Literal magic. Literal magic.
With his magic wands as well.
That's
So, yeah.
But we're just going to send these over now, and hopefully this gives them the information that they need.
Yeah, fantastic. Well done, Sean.
For a little more authenticity, we're adding some seat belts on the inside of the cab. So that these don't simply rip their way out of the polystyrene when they're pulled, we're installing a wooden plate on the inside of the foam to bolt into. At this point in time, we've got no idea whether the windscreen is actually going to be used on set. Perhaps it'll be included as the van rolls onto stage, but to save any glare when trying to get a shot of the characters inside, we've kept this as a removable option. It's great having more people gradually coming back to the studio, but unfortunately, what with everyone busy with other lockdown work and individual hobbies, we're still a couple of hands down, so it's all hands on deck in order to get this done in time. No funny business, you know what I mean?
Friday evening,
Knackered.
we got Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then it's being picked up Tuesday. The last couple of days have been spent really working up the surface. Considering they've only gone for a poly option with a plastic coat, we're really going above and beyond to get this as good as it can be within the time frame. Obviously we can't go for a car body finish like fiberglass, but to be honest, on the majority of this, considering it's poly, it's not far off at all.
It's looking good, but the main thing is when this is shiny, the vinyls will stick to these areas and go over these corners as well.
So it's being primed tonight. This is going to be regrade essentially. A couple of us are going to come back in tomorrow morning, Saturday, and rub it all back down so that it's ready for the final red coat. Going for this darker 2K paint, which is a much stronger paint than just a water-based emulsion. That's going to set over Saturday into Sunday, and Aden's going to come back, see how the colour is, and all being well, it shouldn't really need any more work except for the vinyls being put on. Then of course we've got to go over all of the red with all the gold detailing. We've been sent visuals of gold down here, gold strips, gold around the wing mirrors, around the windows, and just trying to get it to the point where it's exactly like the reference that they've sent, and it's really looking Christmassy.
As part of their behind-the-scenes video project, we've had a crew come down to visit us at the studio to take a little footage for Virgin. A couple of interview clips, and we're going to send them some video time-lapse footage for them to include in a 40-minute online feature. We're at the point now where this is ready to artwork. We're going over first with a grey primer to lock in any layers underneath and provide a solid base for the red paint. Once we're done with the base layers of paint, we need to work on the gold glitter detailing. In order to achieve this effect, the best option was to apply a water-based PVA glue, and rather than adding the glitter into the glue or sprinkling this on, we're literally blowing the glitter straight onto the job. This worked out to actually be far neater than we anticipated, although blowing the residue off the van afterwards resulted in a little more mess, but hey, at least everything's looking fabulous. So whilst I'm de-dusting, here we've been sent the vinyl graphics to apply onto the van. Vinyls like sticking to flat surfaces, so it's lucky we actually got this as smooth as we did, as even after all this work it still takes a little bit of persuasion. If we hadn't gone as hard on the finish as we did, this wouldn't have wanted to hold on at all. The graphics on the side of the van need a little manipulation to ensure that they fit the contours of our carved shapes, but these are all really the finishing touches.
Okay, so it's 9:30 of an evening, the night before. This is being picked up at noon tomorrow. All the vinyls are now added. The most problematic ones being the Virgin Media logos. A, because it's not a straightforward inline font, but B, because of all these weird contours of the van itself. Everything's finished, but Aden's going to stop on just to paint in and touch up a couple of pieces on the inside there, on the inside of the windows. Everything has turned out lovely from our side. Hopefully they're happy with it. Hopefully they can get everything they need from it for the shoot.
With everything complete here in the studio, it's now time to break everything down for transportation. We've put together an assembly video for the clients at the other end just to save any issues, things like where the bulkhead fits inside the job and how to pinch everything together. Getting a van inside a van isn't really something you see every day, but fortunately for us we had about half an inch to spare. So a project that has only been a couple of weeks in the making for us must have had months of planning for Virgin Media. Everything is being prepped to come together for literally a 3-day shoot. 25 days worth of scripts and stories, sets, props, costumes, actors, music, animation and special effects, all being organised for essentially 72 hours worth of filming. Oh hey, it's us. I mean, it's not really a surprise that Christmas is coming up each year. It's kind of a regular thing, so I don't know why you'd leave yourself such a small window. Month's worth of planning and you've left yourself 3 days, but that's something we find always happens in our line of work anyway. Either way, it's amazing what was achieved in a 3-day shoot, especially given the difficulties of the COVID situation here in the UK.
So the van looks amazing. Doesn't look quite like mine. Mine's a lot dirtier. This one's very festive. I love it. So you can see we've got the gold hubcaps, which I love a bit of that. I'd love to pimp my van out. The nickname, I'll be honest, mine's better on my van, Julie Vandrews. So we love that. Better than Vanta Claus, I think. Everything else apart from the nickname, I'd change my van into that, definitely. Looking forward to actually getting in the van and filming some scenes in it. I'll be pulling up in my van to save the day.
Please feel free to leave any comments below, as they're always appreciated, and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell for our latest videos. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram via the links below, and for all of our true die-hard fans out there, you can now become a patron of our studio. All of our supporter contributions go towards the creation of these videos, so if you enjoy our content, you know what to do. Becoming one of our credited patrons means you'll be featured at the end of our upcoming YouTube projects like these guys here, so visit the Patreon link with this video to show your support. However big or small, it's greatly appreciated from all of us here at Sculpture Studios. Thank you very much for watching. Whew, you made it.